Okay, I'm trying out a new look. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the whole video with it, but I'm just checking it out right now. Okay, let me get back to the real one. Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John, and I have another anniversary album. I'm doing Van Halen's Fair Warning. So before I begin, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Van Halen's Fair Warning was released on April 29th, 1981. And today it's celebrating its 40th anniversary. So it was a fairly successful album, but out of all of the David Lee Roth era albums, it was the lowest selling, but it is an album that many people love. And I have heard people saying that it is their favorite album. I think it's very underrated. I really like the artwork. It's a painting by a Canadian artist whose name is William Kurelik. The painting is called The Maze, and on the lineup we have David Lee Roth, Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony, and Alex Van Halen. This album peaked at number 5 on the US Billboard 200 and was produced by Ted Templeman. So now let me talk about the songs. So the album opens up with Mean Street, and I remember many years ago I was learning to play the guitar, and I used to buy these Guitar World magazines, and one of the tab transcriptions was for this song Mean Street. And the intro, it's basically like a guitar solo similar to Eruption, where Eddie Van Halen is using it like a two-handed tapping technique. I remember that being very difficult to play, but once this riff kicks in, it's a great album opener. It's just a really awesome song. A lot of cool riffs in it, and I believe that this was inspired by Harvey Keitel. So the next song is called Dirty Movies. It starts out with Eddie Van Halen playing a pretty quick solo. This one has a really nice mid-tempo pace to it. It's a straightforward Van Halen song, maybe reminiscent of something that could have been on Van Halen 2. David Lee Roth gives his usual performance, and there are a lot of guitar fills by Eddie Van Halen. The next one is called Sinner's Swing, and this one has a really cool opening riff. It reminds me a lot of the hair bands. And I feel that this opening riff was very influential for a lot of the bands of the late 80s. And this is one of those few songs where David Lee Roth kind of like drops an F-bomb like in the verse section. And really an awesome song. It's just a traditional Van Halen song, has the backing vocals and chorus section. The next song is called Hear About It Later, and the intro to the song has this really amazing Eddie Van Halen guitar work. He uses some type of like harmonics, and it's like a clean tone. But once the song takes off, it's just a traditional Van Halen rocker. This is another one of those traditional songs with the backing vocals by Michael Anthony that are very reminiscent of their early material. There's a really cool breakdown with like the drum sounds that Alex Van Halen is playing something that sounds like it's hitting like some type of metal object. I'm not a drummer, I'm not sure what it is, but I really like that drum sound. The next song is called Unchained, and this is probably the most popular song from the album. It was released as a single, and the original working title for the song was called Hit the Ground Running. Eddie Van Halen plays the guitar, and he uses like a flanger effect to create this like special effect, the special like sound on the guitar. And the guitars are also in drop D tuning, so that gave it a very like unique tone. And another pretty cool piece of trivia is that the part where you hear in the background, whereas you hear someone speaking, "Come on, Dave, give me a break," and that's actually Ted Templeman speaking that. So the next song is called A Push Comes to Shove, and this one has a really nice groove to it. Pretty cool bass line in the intro, and this song is a little laid back. David Lee Roth's vocals are a little more, subdued. And the song reminds a little bit of like Little Dreamer. It has that type of sound to it. The guitar solo is very technical. Eddie Van Halen is definitely showing off his skills. The next song is called So This Is Love, and this was released as a single. And another one of those very popular songs. And this song actually has like a swing beat, which was very kind of rare for Van Halen to use this type of beat. The single only reached 110 on the Billboard Hot 200, and 15 on the rock tracks. Now, these next two songs are like two of my favorites, and I'm going to talk about them together because they're almost like two in one. Like both of these songs go together. It's called Sunday Afternoon in the Park and One Foot Out the Door. They're each 2 minutes each. And the first part is basically an instrumental, Sunday Afternoon in the Park. It has a synthesizer and it sounds like an 80s horror movie. I recently reviewed a band called The Lion's Daughter, and they're a metal band, and they use like this type of like horror sounds with like mixed with like black metal and things like that. But this is something Van Halen did, and it was probably unheard of at the time. The synthesizers we will be hearing like on later albums, and the song goes directly into a song called One Foot Out the Door. And this is a traditional Van Halen song, but it still has that like creepy like synthesizer like in the background. You don't really hear any like guitar in the verse until like the guitar solo, which is very like technical. And again, this is another awesome song, one of like the heavier songs on the album, and just a great album closer. So that's it. Basically, it's 9 songs, 30 minutes, and it's a classic Van Halen album. One of the last great like rocking albums from the David Lee Roth era. Because after this, they released Diver Down, and that one was a little mixed up. It had like cover songs and things like that. They released 1984, and that one had like the synthesizers and a little more, I guess, commercial, you can call it that. But this is like the last great like traditional Van Halen album from that specific David Lee Roth period. It's one of my favorites. You know, the album We Went to Children First is probably like their like heaviest, like most metal album, but this is just a straightforward rock album, and it only gets like experimental on the last 2 songs. So that is it. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think of Fair Warning? This weekend I have new releases. I have the new album by Gojira, the new album by Evil, and the new album by Dropkick Murphys. So I'll try to catch up on videos. I wasn't able to put out many during the week because of my heavy work schedule, but I will be putting out videos all throughout the weekend. So please check out my in-video links, and I'll see you in the next one.